The Phoenix Rising pregame show is brought to you by Reese's Dental and Braces.
The legend of Dollar Beer Night continues here in the Valley of the Sun as Rick Johnson, Phoenix Rising FC, riding a 14-game winning streak, welcomes Sacramento Republic and Simon Elliott to Casino Arizona Field here in marvelous Scottsdale, Arizona for a battle of number 1 and number 6 in the Western Conference table. Tyler Terrence along with the ex-German pro Devin Kerr. Glad to have you with us. Pregame, as always, presented by our friends over at Reese's Dental. And Devin, we'll take a look at the Western Conference table at the moment. Obviously, Phoenix Rising Football Club running away with the West, an opportunity to win the Shield. But how about Sacramento Republic, and with the way that the West has just been so jam-packed, an opportunity with 3 points tonight to jump into 4th place?
I don't like to use this word a lot, but I'm going to say it. They need 3 points tonight. They have to stay within striking distance of everybody in front of them. If they lose tonight, theoretically, San Antonio FC in that 12th spot could leapfrog them. That gives you an idea of how closely knit this group is, but Sacramento Republic has a trump card. They are one of the few teams that say that they are always top dog when they play Phoenix Rising.
And for Phoenix Rising FC, it's no secret what they've accomplished over the past few months since that loss against Orange County, going for number 15 in a row tonight. But Devin, probably one of the most impressive things about this streak is the contributions they're getting from everyone.
11 different players have hit the back of the net during this 14-game win streak. That is an astounding stat. And it's one of those times where when you're not playing your best, when your back is up against the wall, when things just aren't going positively in your direction, you can lock arms with one of your brothers down in the trenches and say, give us a boost going forward. That's what they got out of Mustafa Dumbuya last game out. He is someone who probably does not get enough credit, to be honest. On the right side of the defense, yes, he gets forward on a regular basis, but he has to cover a lot of ground, with all due respect to Solomon Asante. That front three is always pushed much higher. Dumbuya last game got to get involved on the offensive side of things. He made them pay and was the guy who got all the glory at the end of their match. More importantly, helped them get 3 points.
And Dumbuya and this entire Phoenix Rising FC backline is going to have their hands full with just a Quails roster that is loaded with talent and got even better over the past couple of weeks. Thomasina Volton, who went over to Indy 11 during the offseason, comes back to the Western Conference with Simon Elliott, and Sacramento Republic, 2 goals in his debut against Colorado Springs.
It was nothing against Indy 11. Speaking with Martin Rennie, he said, look, we ended things amicably, everything is fine, but it was the wrong system for Indy Volton, and he will tell you that as well. You saw that just last week. Comes in, trains for 2-3 days, scores a brace in his debut. I understand it gets against Colorado Springs. However, when you play that well and you've only been with the team 3, 4, 5 days, sky is the limit for this squad going forward.
Well, Thomasina Volton, all too familiar with Phoenix Rising FC and the rivalry that he was able to establish with Orange County FC. But this one is a bit different. It's Sacramento and Phoenix. Phoenix has struggled with the Quails mightily in the past. Sacramento looking to jump into 4th place. It's Phoenix and the Quails when we come back.
At Arizona Federal, our passion is to help out the community where you live and work, because where you bank should make you feel good. Show your support for the home team with the Phoenix Rising Visa debit card. When you open a new account, you can score $100 just for using your card when you shop. How's that for an easy goal? Be a part of our commitment to the community. Arizona Federal Credit Union.
We're Carvana, the company who invented car vending machines and buying a car 100% online. Now we've created a brand new way for you to sell your car. Whether it's a few years old or dinosaur old, we want to buy your car. So go to Carvana and enter your license plate, answer a few questions, and our techno wizardry calculates your car's value and gives you a real offer in seconds. When you're ready, we'll come to you, pay you on the spot, and pick up your car. That's it. So ditch the old way of selling your car and say hello to the new way at Carvana.
Mobile Mini is a lockdown defender. Have peace of mind using Mobile Mini, guarding all of your valuables on site, at home, or at your business. Mobile Mini storage containers are made of 100% steel and maximize your protection with our patented Tri-Cam locking system that is camera-proof, cut-proof, and drill-proof. Proud partner of Phoenix Rising FC.
Almost ready for kickoff here on Dollar Beer Night at Casino Arizona Field between Phoenix and Sacramento in the Western Conference of the USL Championship. And tonight's broadcast presented by Equality Health. Again, Tyler Terrenson sitting 2.5 centimeters to my right is none other than Devin Kerr. Devin, let's take a look at the starting 11 for Phoenix. 2 changes for Rick Schantz.
Joey Farrell back on the back line next to Luigi Mala. You cannot push the Ivorian off. He has played so well in this stretch when given the opportunity to do so. Zach Lubin, of course, leading the troops going forward. How about the move in the midfield? Aguinaga back alongside Vaquero and Kevin Lambert. Let's get that out of the way right now. Junior Flemings, Adam John, Solomon Asante, everything stays the same. This well-oiled machine looks to put another notch on their belt. How about Simon Elliott and Sacramento Republic? What does that look like? Cami Wassa will start in the 10 spot, number 31. This will be his 105th appearance for the organization. That is best all-time for the Quails. Darius Formella, he's a trump card for me. Sam Warner. Rick Schantz was big on the matchup of what would be with Sam on the field. He will have to come off the bench to get his appearance. Formella, the Polish international player, very, very good. Hasn't necessarily shown his stars yet, but he's still getting integrated into this squad.
Formella making his first start for Sacramento Republic. Simon Elliott and the Quails have been more than a handful for Phoenix Rising in the past, and away we go. It's back-to-back Dollar Beer Nights for Phoenix Rising FC, coming off of a 4-2 decision against Reno 1868. Sacramento have been very solid in their last 5. A massive 3 points up for grabs. Phoenix looking to make it 15 in a row. Sacramento with 3 points tonight can jump in to 4th place. The stage is set, storylines galore, and away we go. Foul called against Phoenix. And Devin, it was interesting talking to Rick Schantz a couple days ago, because he said something that really took me by surprise, that he could see it in some of his guys' eyes in the Reno game, that a lot of them were overlooking Ian Russell's group, who was in second place at the time, overlooking them for this Sacramento game, knowing how much it means to go ahead and beat Simon Elliott's group.
That's what happens sometimes when you have so much emotion behind an upcoming match. And this is a matchup that, for Phoenix Rising, we already alluded to it a little bit, has not gone very well for them in the past. 2-6-5 all-time versus the Quails, and they have never won on the road. So the good news is those victories have come at Casino Arizona Field. But when you have all that behind you, and then you immediately have to come out and try and find a way to see what's going on against Reno, you can slip past that. And that's where your mind starts to wander a little bit. That's why you see streaky play at a certain point in time. Felt like things had gotten better initially versus Reno, then it faded off. More importantly, kind of liked your comment on the backside of things. You said, Coach, what does that look like for you when your guys are looking past and you still go out and you're able to pump forward in the back of the net? He said, yeah, it's a good problem, but it's also a bad problem to have. I got to keep these guys focused.
Work to do for Joey Farrell. He lets it bounce. It goes back for Lubin. It could be trouble here, and Cami Wassa puts it in. A disastrous mistake from Phoenix, and Cami Wassa puts the Quails on the board in the opening 2 minutes. He has always been a Phoenix killer, and he gives Sacramento Republic the lead over a Phoenix side that has won 14 games straight. It's 1-0 to the visitors here at Casino Arizona Field.
We have seen some miscommunication between Zach Lubin and the back line throughout this stretch. And when you rotate a couple pieces, which you have to give credit to, you have to find a way that this stays so constant. That's not the case whatsoever. Joey Farrell makes a mess of this. Does not see Cami Wassa slip in behind him. Zach Lubin with a last-ditch effort. He comes, tries to punch it away, can't get to it. Very well done by Cami Wassa to play hide and seek and put one up the back of the net inside of 5 minutes.
A dozen goals on the season for Cami Wassa, and what a start for Sacramento. This is a group that scores about 30% of their goals in the final 15 minutes of the game. They rarely get a goal, only 7 to be exact now in the first 15 minutes of a match. Zach Lubin, nothing he could do about it, and Cami Wassa just with terrific instincts, knowing exactly where Joey Farrell was going to go. Meanwhile, Phoenix trying to answer on the other end. Adam John holding up play, now digging one towards the back post for John Vaquero. He tries to keep it in play, but it runs out. And a goal kick coming for Bobby Shuttleworth. But what a start for Simon Elliott's group. And this crowd is taken by surprise and then some.
Sometimes that happens. And when you rotate pieces like this, and they're able to do so, look at Phoenix Rising. They are one of the few teams in all the USL Championship that can rotate not just one piece, but multiple pieces throughout their games and still have the beautiful play that we've seen. As the ball comes back over the top, Joey Farrell initially can't get enough body on the challenge, and when he tries to go back to Zach Lubin, that's where you wonder, does the shout come from Duiji Mala to let him have it? Is Zach Lubin asking for the ball regardless? Miscommunication 100% in full effect. Sacramento make him pay.
Comes to this near side for Juan Barahona. Mid-season transaction. 24-year-old from San Salvador, El Salvador. Making a 7th start for the Quails. Sort of a Juan of all trades, if you will. Actually saw him play a central midfielder role as well as a center back role with Santa Tecla in the Scotiabank CONCACAF Champions League, and they're implementing him at the outside back position, Dev.
Simon Elliott also used him, call it at the left back position when they experimented with 3 on the back line. A couple games they rotated in and out, trying to figure out with the personnel that they had what would be the best look for them. That's not a bad shout for Barahona. Manager can kind of put you anywhere you want, and you'll see that out of him. He has no problem throwing numbers forward. Beautiful left foot on the distribution side of things. And it's crazy to think that you have guys like Jordan McCrary and Shannon Gomez, and then you add Barahona into the mix as well. 3 very impressive outside backs that Elliott can use at his disposal.
Amadou D on the restart. Caro just tried to knot it down, and Sacramento have won a couple of balls in the middle of the park that have allowed them to then at least try to hit Phoenix on the counter, but they'll go all the way back for Shuttleworth. Adam John giving chase, just trying to shape it out. And this one is launched out of play, and let's take a look at tonight's Mayo Clinic injury report for Phoenix Rising. Alessandro Rizzi and Jason Johnson out on the field and just going through the motions with the group, which is obviously a very good sign for Phoenix as we're starting to come down the home stretch, and Rick Shantz continues to tell us that both of them are making terrific progress, and it is just going to be the most positive of nightmares for him to have to try to implement them not only into the starting 11 but just into the 18. Who on earth is he going to drop? And while we have a moment, let's take a look at tonight's All-Sco uniform report as well, and it is a Friday night. It is a dollar beer night, and that means it's a Copper State Friday for Phoenix Rising FC and Sacramento in their white and grays. John Baccaro on top of the free kick. Phoenix trying to respond after the opening goal from Cam Iwasa, which came in the 2nd minute as he read a backwards header from Joey Farrell to perfection and just looped it over the head of Zach Lubin. Baccaro, not his best delivery, doesn't get past the first defender. Junior Fleming's bringing it down. Now he tries to lash it across, and it's an own goal. My goodness, what a start here in the Valley of the Sun. 2 bizarre goals for 2 sides who don't need any help going forward. It's Junior Fleming who's able to create it. An own goal for sure for the Quails. And in the 8th minute, we'll go forward at 1-1.
You cannot understate the value of Lady Luck in this situation. Throughout all of these runs, yes, there is brilliant play, and I promise you, there is a massive amount of character. But look at the little touch that comes off here. All the way back across, really well done by Flemings to keep it alive. All he's trying to do is put this back into the mixer. Quick little touch to the outside when he brings it back across his body. The deflection to the near post. Shuttleworth can do nothing but watch it end up into the back of his own net. That, my friends, is why this streak is still alive.
The beautiful game, the bizarre game at the moment. Mustafa Dambuya getting yanked out from behind by Darius Formella. And now the south end is starting to get into it. They were a bit quiet after the opening goal from Cam Iwasa. Here's Baccaro turning the corner, keeping the ball in play. How's he going to wiggle his way out of this situation? And look at all the pressure coming from Phoenix, but they're going to be called for the foul. And the best play on a new forward is at Sanderson Ford. Shop Arizona's largest selection of new forwards with no hassle, no pressure, and no nonsense. Sanderson Ford is America's most awarded Ford dealership for customer service. Shop Sanderson Ford.
Keep an eye on right now. There is some high energy coming out of Phoenix Rising. This is where you want to go after. They're trying to regain the momentum. The entire streak, dollar bill night. Of course, everybody in the USL Championship has their eyes on this match. Opportunity for Sac Republic to continue their nice run and move up the standings. And you come back that immediately. The response that is so quick, regardless of the deflection or not, they will 100% continue to play a bit of a press here and go after the Quails.
Dumbuya. Aguinaga trying to bring it down. Being hounded by Hayden Partain. Aguinaga came off the bench in the 4-2 win against Reno as they went with sort of that dual 6 look between Lambert and Musa. Here comes Sacramento on the other end with a lot of pace. Goes through the legs of Luigi Mala. Here's the Poland native, Formella. Nina Voltson having to circle back around. Shuttle work to this near side, but loops over the head of Barahona. I think we can safely say that 1-1 in the 11th minute is probably the last thing that we expected.
The way that the recent matches has gone between these two teams, 1-1 in the 80th minute might not have been what you expected. Another bad giveaway.
John Baquero's the culprit this time. Iwasa tees it up and sends it well over the south end. But he already had his goal tonight. Iwasa, who is continually in contention for one of the greatest Sacramento Republic players of all time. And I think it's starting to become more and more clear that it's not really much of an argument at this point, or just a matter of fact, as Aguinaga, some good control over on the far side. Junior Flemings looking to link up with Adam John. Flemings trying to get around the defender, and he's going to get called for the foul. That's an interesting call for Ismir Pekmic, because it seemed like the Quail defender was trying to get in the way of Flemings getting on the end of the latter half of the give and go, and just seemed to bulldoze over him. It was Jordan McCrary who was the defender in question.
It looked like the initial challenge right here when he goes on the outside, getting on the 1-2, a little outstretched arm. I'll tell you, that's a gray area for me that I let both those boys play on, and I understand they lock up on the tail end of things, but it's a little bit of a tit for tat. The referee setting precedent early on.
Jordan McCrary, a guy who once upon a time was the 10th overall pick by the New England Revolution in 2016. 25-year-old from Alpharetta, Georgia. Here's Mustafa Dumbuya coming off of his all-league performance just a week ago against Ian Russell in Reno.
How interesting already with John Baquero coming quite deep. That's usually the role played out of Kevin Lambert. And you just wonder exactly how much is going to go on in the middle of the field. The answer is quite vital. Both the midfielders for Sacramento Republic and Phoenix going to have to do a lot of work the way the game's playing out.
Asante, first time delivery, punched away by Shuttleworth. Amadou Diaz stepping up. A lot of contact. And it's going to be Sacramento Republic coming the other way in the form of Hayden Partain. Good play from Shuttleworth on the other end. Long ball sent the other way for Cam Iwasa. Long way to go get it. Joey Farrell out to defend. He was responsible for giving away the opening goal for Sacramento. Nina Voltson, a little 1-2 with Darius Formella. Good matchup here between Baquero and Formella, who's making his debut in the starting lineup for Simon Elliott. Scooped over the top, Ina Voltson towards the edge of the area. But it was just out of the reach of Sacramento, and Zach Lubin sharply off of his line. And a very good pace to this one after the opening goals from both sides. Baquero. Sante Asante and Adam John were occupying the same space for just a brief moment. That's why Baquero had to go into negative fashion. Now it's Aguinaga checking back to it, lays it off for Solomon Asante. Here's the Ghanaian again. It's a good idea to try to slip it through, but the window was really fine margins as Aguinaga battling with Forbella. And it's going to be a goal kick. Phoenix Rising is pleased to have players of Arsenal Soccer Club as tonight's First Watch Ball Kids. Be sure to visit www.firstwatch.com to find your neighborhood First Watch, the daytime cafe. Rick Shantz using Devin, some of yours, as well as Kelsey Steele's predictions as a bit of motivation for Phoenix Rising heading into tonight's match. And, you know, Rick makes a decent point in saying that it has become the safe bet to just simply bet against Phoenix because the winning streak does have to come to an end at some point, as this is a giveaway from Zach Lubin that's allowed Sacramento to create a little bit of space, and Lubin sees this go wide. He did not get a touch to it and a goal kick coming. You also feeling like Sacramento might not necessarily be the best matchup for Phoenix, whether it be a loss or a draw, but Rick obviously using this sort of negativity within the media as a tool, as motivation for his group that I don't think need any motivation against Sacramento.
Let's get that out of the way. He said it's the hungriest they've been. When you take a look at what's gone on, you can attest to this because you sit next to me on a regular basis. It's really the first time since their good run of form that I've said they have an honest chance to lose with this matchup. And there's a couple reasons for that. Number one, the way that the matchups play out. The outside midfielders can kind of cancel each other out. You have to win your individual battles. You're going to have to see more defensive movement out of the likes of Asante and Flemings to track back and help when you've got overlapping runs, because the outside backs from both teams do the same thing. They want to play high. The midfielders do the same thing. You rotate 2-3 going forward. And statistically, it's the past. It's the emotion you talked about as well. Again, Phoenix 2, 6, and 5 all time. 10 of those games, mind you, have been won, or excuse me, have been goal or less decided by. So that gives you an idea of how close they are, and that can creep into your mind, that issue of doubt. When you are on the losing end of that statistic, a lot of times you can go, oh no, not again, especially when you're at home. The difference for Phoenix here is, yes, they're on this ridiculous streak, but more importantly, they're on this ridiculous streak at home. 9-0-3 this season. They are unbeaten, and you have to go back to the game against Portland Timbers last year from the last time in the regular season that they lost a match.
McCrary lays it off for Iwasa. He takes it on the first time, and Zach Lubin up to the task. What an outstanding ball from Thomasina Voltson to unlock Jordan McCrary, who was making a massive run coming the other way. Presence of mind from the outside back to find Iwasa, but Zach Lubin with a terrific save.
Also a situation where you don't want to poke a sleeping bear, and the way that Sacramento Republic have come out has been quite impressive. They are pushing numbers forward. You can see everybody rotating in and out. Just at the tail end, you see Eni Voltson coming into your picture. He is their focal point up top, but Cam Iwasa is so impressive when he rotates out from the 10 and kind of wanders a little bit. Watch the two of them play off each other.
Ismail Peckman is just going to make sure that none of the extracurriculars going on near Zach Lubin get out of hand. Jaime Villarreal in question, as well as Amadou Diat, who's just trying to make sure that Villarreal gives Lubin enough breathing room. As this ball is looped in, it's got snow coming down on it as Eni Voltson gets ahead to it, but the foul coming out the other way. Last matchup between these two sides seems like eons ago. It was a 0-0 decision at Papa Murphy's Park. It seems like every time that these two sides meet up in Northern California, it finishes a 0-0 draw. And that was a game in which Jason Johnson was last seen in action. He went down with his injury that he's been nursing for quite some time now, and is also where Luigi Mala went off with an injury, and Austin Ledbetter was sent into the game as reinforcements, and Phoenix were able to hang on for a clean sheet and a point on the road at Papa Murphy's Park, which a lot of teams cannot claim that they've been able to accomplish this year. As the ball runs out of play and go back to Sacramento.
As part of that 5-game swing where they go on the road, they beat El Paso, you go, okay, things are starting to get better. Do the wheels come off in Austin? That was a big topic of conversation. Then, okay, let's pump some in the back of the net against Tacoma. Spirits are high, you go on the road. That was looked at as 3 points, and I would agree with it, because it is very difficult, not just for Phoenix, but for anybody to go to Papa Murphy's Park and be able to put points up on the board. They take the one, they leave, and then Orange County. And everybody kind of drop their heads and say, okay, we have a problem. How's that problem now? The ridiculous winning streak just continuing on. And what's more impressive is the way that they've done it. It's not the goals and the goal differential. It's the manner in which every single game has played out, where they've been out in front by 4 or 5 goals. They've had to come from behind. This is a team who's come from behind quite a few times this year. They've done quite an impressive record, where the only 2 teams that they lost against were Orange County and Austin. Every other time, they've come from behind to at least get a point. 7 matches in total. 2 wins, 2 losses, 3 draws.
McCrary linking up with Hayden Partain, the 24-year-old from Dallas, Texas. Trying to switch the point of attack, but Mustafa Dabuya reads it well. Second ball picked up by Barahona. Iwasa. Plays it off for Ina Voltson. Partain threading the needle. Here's McCrary. Keeps it low. Good delivery, but Zach Lubin read it extremely well off of his line. Phoenix will try to go quickly. Asante leads the USL Championship with 18 goals on the season. Just 1 ahead of Daniel Rios of Nashville. In for Junior Flemings. Aguinaga, clean first touch, now lofts it in. Adam John was trying to tee up the header. Barahona did well. Dabuya brings it down. Asante trying to loft it in, took a deflection off of Barahona. Joey Farrell gets bridged a little bit by Iwasa, and a free kick to Phoenix.
Quick little elbow here from Kem Iwasa. Track back to the other side of things. Really well done by Zach Lubin. This is all the goalkeeper recognizing the threat immediately, coming off his line, and what you'd really like to see is some quick transitional play coming out, finding the balls deep in the channels. As high as Jordan McCrary and Barahona are going to get, you have to find a way to then go after them when you counter the other direction. Long balls, 30, 40 yards down into the corner will suit Phoenix nicely. For Kem Iwasa, when that outlet pass does come, you cannot gift it back to the opposition.
Asante in for Baquero. Oh, it's a great first touch, or so it seemed, but it's muscled the other way. There's a new hero in town, and she's Gotham City's only hope. Batwoman premieres on your Phoenix CW Sundays this fall. Aguinaga, a little how do you do in the back. Mala trying to find Adam John, and he gets called for the foul. Ismir Pekmic has a tight grasp on this game at the moment, knowing everything that's on the line in the history between these 2 clubs, and probably the right approach from the head official. What a bizarre Western Conference it has been this year, Devin. We talked about it during the pregame, but I think it bears repeating. I mean, it's unbelievable the fact that Sacramento with a win tonight could move into 4th, but if they don't win, every other team could jump them and they could be on the outside looking in at the playoff picture.
You can jump all the way down to Orange County, Las Vegas, RGV. To be fair, even Colorado Springs are still there. They have an opportunity. Goldie Harris named the interim manager after Steve Trichu knocked out, and just so many teams there. What they are not there for taking is the front 3. That is most assuredly going to be Phoenix, Reno, and Fresno. And the way things are playing out, especially with the game in hand on Reno, Phoenix will occupy that top spot. But the prize has always been bigger for Rick Shantz and co. Consistently saying that, you know, we understand we want to win, results are good, but there's a light at the end of the tunnel, and we are nowhere near that yet. We have so much work to be done. We want to make sure that we're doing it in emphatic fashion, and this system that is always changing itself, just little teeters here and there. It seems like just when you think you have them picked out, someone else steps up.
Baquero for Aguinaga. He kept it in play, and Sacramento forced to get rid of it. And it'll be a deep throw in for Phoenix.
That's the bigger look here. It's not just pumping it to the front 3. You can get big movements out of Dabuya, where he'll go 3-4 games in a row where he doesn't progress past the 18-yard box.
Baquero teasing ball in. Adam John felt like he was taken down. And it's going to be a corner kick for Phoenix. First of the night for them. And Deco Kanon needs to be a little bit careful there because it seemed like there was a lot of contact, but no call from Ismir Pekmic.
Shoulder to shoulder, Deco Kanon coming out here on the backside. Tell you what, right foot in front, pulling his arm down as well. That's not a bad shout from Adam John. The positioning by the referee most assuredly off.
Amadou Dia on the corner, which is brought to you by Carvana. Dia, good ball in. Looked like it skimmed off the head of Adam John. Midway through this first half, Tyler Terrence along with the ex-German pro Devin Kerr, 1-1 between Phoenix and Sacramento. The goal scored came in the first few minutes of the game. Opener from Cam Iwasa in the 2nd minute. And then just a few minutes later, an own goal from Juan Barahona. After a cross from Junior Flemings took a nasty deflection off the big toe of Barahona. And that's how we find ourselves at 1-1. By Aguinaga, Lambert finding the feet of Asante. Looking to try forward, looking to change the pace from the Ghanaian. In for Adam John. Both players go to ground. And it's going to be called against John. And that is the right call. The crowd's upset. No protest from John. And that's when you know.
Just two big bodies doing battle. Really well done here by Mitchell Taintor. Lovely tackle would both go to ground, but watch him be able to maintain his balance on the up and up, going the other direction. Then it's the body challenge, getting back in front of him, playing the leverage game, gets all the angles right. We've had the opportunity to spring this offense, and Adam John recognizes that, just pulls him down a little bit.
Adam John, of course, was a part of that USL Cup side with Sacramento. And led by which coach? Devin Kerr.
That's a Preki sighting for sure.
Oh, yeah. Preki last sighted in the USL Championship with St. Louis FC once upon a time. Asante finding Aguinaga. Adam John couldn't quite hang on to it. Will go negative. A few times tonight that we've seen Sacramento be in clear possession, or at least since the first 5 minutes or so. And it's a waste of possession at that.
What's nice here for Phoenix, as you can see, that Adam John, Junior Fleming, Solomon Asante working really hard to make sure there is not a lot of outlet passes coming from the back line. They're making them go direct to the outside or to the boys up top. A guy that they really want to keep it away from, Villarreal, have done very well doing so. He can be that pivot midfielder who starts so deep and then gets his tack going forward. Have not been able to find him on a regular basis so far.
Dia going back for Aguinaga, who turned Hayden Partain and then some. Now working on Deco Kanon. Aguinaga looking for Solomon Asante, but a step out of the back coming from Mitchell Taintor. And it's offside. It was a really impressive sequence from Jose Aguinaga over on the far side. Junior Flemings was trying to turn. He felt like he was fouled by Jordan McCrary. What a matchup that is over on the left flank if you're on the Phoenix side of things between Flemings and McCrary. The stoppage here as looks like it's Hayden Partain who's down. Sacramento Republic. Devin, thoughts on the first half hour or so?
Interesting, and that's the best way to say it. You've seen Phoenix comes out, we'll call it flat. 2 minutes, I get it, but sometimes you need something to wake you up. lacking communication, as we mentioned before. Joey Farrell gets that wrong. You still have to question what exactly goes on the backside of that. I'm not putting all of this on Joey Farrell because we don't have the liberty of being right there on the field. That could have been Zach Lubin asking for it and he comes late. Could have been him asking for it and Joey Farrell can't react to it initially and then play it back. So it's easy to point the finger at number 15. Then from there, great response by Phoenix. Really liked the energy for about the next 10 or 15 minutes, and now you're starting to see some back and forth where Phoenix is slowing things down, trying to play to their advantage. And the good thing is they haven't been the greatest on the offensive third, but more importantly, they haven't allowed Sacramento Republic to gain any momentum back from this opening goal. They've denied the outlet passes, as we mentioned, from Villarreal coming out. Now another holding midfielder, Hayden Partain, might be out of the bunch. As we mentioned before, just that little bit of luck. Ball comes back across the middle. Well done by Junior Flemings, a guy who has a ridiculous engine. You just talked about the matchup against Jordan McCrary on the right-hand side. Imagine looking at their stats at the end of the game and how many kilometers they've covered. But for Sacramento Republic, they're going to be happy right now. They're going to be frustrated that the goal's given up on a deflection, but they haven't been a boatload of clear-cut opportunities for Phoenix Rising so far.
And for Simon Elliott, are you happy with the way that the first 30 minutes has gone?
You'd like to be out in front and, like I said, not giving up that goal, but you just have to maintain your composure. That's what they've shown over the course of this series history, is that they're always right there. You know, these games don't get away from either one of these teams in the long season. I promise you, it's going to be just as close come the 90th minute, if not within one goal, just right there. And he just wants to make sure that he keeps his troops healthy, that you don't let the emotions overwhelm it. Rick Sean said the same thing, that he wants to make sure his guys aren't letting this take them over. His concern is going to be, I don't want to be having long balls from Kanon and Tainer being pumped up to Ini Voltson or down to the channel from Al Amon on a regular basis. I need my guys in the middle to get involved. That's where the defensive side, to me, has been most impressive because it's almost non-existent. You're going from the back line directly to the sidelines and then pushing it up top, if not bypassing that. And there's not really 3, 4, 5, 6 like we've seen in the past going forward from the Quails. It's just like a 2 or 3 man game.
This is a Sacramento Republic side that's unbeaten in their last 4. Their last loss was that 2-1 decision against New Mexico United, in which Daniel Bruce had an absolute screamer at Papa Murphy's Park. And that was sort of New Mexico United's reintroduction into league play after their Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup hangover, as Solomon Asante driving towards the end line, able to avoid the challenge, at least for the moment. Barahona clips him. He might go into the book here. And it looks like Cards will stay in the pocket of Ismir Pekmic as Barahona checks on Solomon Asante. And a makeshift corner of sorts coming up for Phoenix.
You could just read the lips of Solomon Asante at the tail end of it. He said, "You caught me." Watch the trailing leg. The left one just wrapping back around. The right initially isn't necessarily the worst, but as it continues forward, he doesn't tuck it back. That's what catches Solomon Asante. That's what gets him in trouble.
Barahona, who's responsible for the own goal. And now puts Sacramento in a little bit of hot water at the moment. Amadou Dia, the lefty, standing over the free kick. Dia, and straight at Shuttleworth. Aleman, nice little cutback. Slow things up for the Quails.
A bit more off-center, but visions of the Ishjome Colorado Springs free kick earlier this season, whipping that in. Of course, this is on the side of Phoenix Rising, but it's a very dangerous ball that you can put in there sometimes, and not necessarily sure if it's going to be the goalkeeper or one of the defenders coming out to it. Well read by Shuttleworth.
Amadou was actually filling in on the right-hand side after he took the free kick on this right flank here, normally stationed at the left back position. Joe Tainer sprays over to the far side for McCrary. And thanks to our friends at Jackson's Car Wash, you get a free car wash with every Phoenix Rising ticket. Visit phxrisingfc.com/Jacksons for more information. Booyah. for Dambuya. On Barahona, though, stationed closely to the Ghanaian. Farrell will go all the way back for Lubin. Pennsylvania native has settled in nicely since making that mistake in the opening 2 minutes that allowed Cami Wassa to slide in and score his 12th goal of the season. Baquero looking for the big switch over for Junior Flemings. It's a picture-perfect ball. Here's the Jamaican going to work on McCrary. Lays it off for Aguinaga. Lambert in for Dia. Now Asante. Wants it on his right, now cuts it back to his left. Asante, was he taken down? Ismir Pekovic had a front row seat. No call. Aleman, dribbling in a negative fashion, somehow gets it away from McCrary. He's pressured into a turnover. Now it's Dia who takes it over. Asante trying to go back for the Frenchman, but the back heel doesn't quite come off. And Cami Wassa can't hang on to it. It's right back to Phoenix Rising. Farrell now taking matters into his own hands. Flemings tried to help it along for Dia. And right now it's Phoenix in full control, making Sacramento work from side to side. Now we'll work this right-hand side. Lambert. Ball ahead for Aguinaga. Tainer gets a touch to it, and it'll stay with the home side. Now 10 minutes remaining until halftime. Flemings scored one against Reno last week. Outlet pass straight to the feet of Kevin Lambert. Asante trying to get to the outside. Shook himself out of the play. Rick Shantz is claiming that that's a foul. Making the argument that every time that he puts his hand on Asante as he's trying to make the move around the outside back, Juan Barahona, that it should be called a foul. Devin, you seeing the same thing?
It's one of those things that the referee early on called it, now he's not calling it.
Laid off, Aguinaga. Now cutting it back to his right. Here's Aguinaga, and he skied it. It was a great cushion header from Adam John, and Jose Aguinaga did the very most that he could with what was a very difficult ball to bring down.
We'll double back to the referee in a second here, and this is what Phoenix has been missing. Those long distributed balls into Adam John and his ability to just hold up the run of play and allow one of the attacking midfielders to run up underneath it. Aguinaga just lacking the finishing touches of a very well-read play by Adam John, just to put it on a platter top of the 18 and then come and finish one off. And tracking back to the referee for a second, I don't mind if you're going to let him play like that. Just let him play the entire time. We saw him blow that foul 8-10 minutes in, and we talked about it and said, okay, well, if you're going to call it now you have to call it 25-35 minutes in. He's not doing that.
Baquero, first time delivery, gets all the way through. Junior Flemings wasn't expecting it to get through Deco Kanon. It did, and it falls nicely for Bobby Shuttleworth. Now it's Sacramento coming the other way. They have been mighty quiet over the past 10-15 minutes. Asante puts in a challenge, but it's Hayden Partain who comes away with it. Or excuse me, that's Kevin Aleman. Aleman on the move and stood up by Joey Farrell. Now it's Aguinaga going the other way. Space to play for Junior Flemings. 1v1 with Jordan McCrary again. Here's the Reggae Boy, puts it on frame, or at least tries to. It takes a deflection, and a corner kick coming up for Phoenix.
Phoenix are going to start running into situations where they need to turn into their old selves. We've had this conversation before, where when you have space out in front of you, you need to run at them. There is so much opportunity for them to go after this in numbers. This is the chance just before Junior Flemings. Exactly what we're talking about. You go quick in transition when Baquero plays this ball across. Never assume that it's going to go the other direction. You have to assume that this is going to end up at your feet. Flemings can't get it right.
Hand-to-hand stuff over the past 5 minutes or so. Dia will take his time and allow some of his comrades to catch his breath as well as his own. Dia, good ball in. Contact, Aguinaga tried to get the shot off, but a good defensive play over on the far side. And Joey Farrell is down for Phoenix Rising. Seems like he caught a shot to the face while trying to challenge the header. Kevin Lambert back in. Sante called for the foul on Partain. This is only one of 2 games this Friday evening in the USL Championship. We just had one over in the Eastern Conference. And it was the Pittsburgh Riverhounds getting a goal from Steven Dos Santos in the 5th minute and held on for a 1-0 win at Highmark Stadium against Ryan Martin and Loudoun United, who have been skidding mightily over the past month or so now, basically since opening up at Segra Field. That was a big response from Bob Lilly's boys after getting trounced by North Carolina FC. Boy, have they been pumping in goals left and right after their emphatic win over Tampa Bay Rowdies in Wednesday night soccer. They put up 5 against the Pittsburgh Riverhounds. I don't know if Bob Lilly's ever had a team that's conceded 5 goals in his career.
5 against the Riverhounds. North Carolina FC handed the Tampa Bay Rowdies one midweek, and it's 3 out of 4 for Neil Collins' squad. They are on the downslide. That is not a good look. What does that end up being? To be fair, they were rotating a massive amount of pieces, but still, if you're going to make those kinds of moves, you got to be able to back up the performance, and they definitely could not.
Aguinaga along for Flemings, and his delivery is well off the mark. To be fair to Tampa Bay, they have been playing some of the better teams within the Eastern Conference, but if you are going to emerge as the Eastern Conference champion, those are games that you at least have to get a point on the road against a side like Dave Saracen and North Carolina FC.
When you've had 10 days off, mind you. 10 days off. They looked terrible.
But that's always a tricky one coming off of a bye week. You think back to Phoenix Rising a year ago, after #NoGoalsJune, they come off of their bye week, and I think it was 8 or 9 days, it wasn't exactly 10, and they get drilled by Fresno 4-0 on the road.
It's interesting, though, when you go further into it, and you're right that some teams respond positively, others in the negative fashion. And for Neil Collins, he talked about they needed that time to kind of rejuvenate the rest of their season going forward. Said we've had a pretty regular season, not a lot of midweek games, and talked about how good training was. That didn't look like it. It looked poor, and I can't even imagine what that plane ride was like going home. Not a fun one, I can tell you that much.
Phoenix will restart with Mamadou Diop. Gets it back from Luigi Malo. Pressure from Thomasino Voltson, who's still trying to find his rhythm within all this Western Conference madness between Sacramento and Phoenix. 2 goals scored in the first 10 minutes of the game. Aguinaga gets shoved in the back, and now a set piece coming up for Phoenix.
This place would go into an absolute frenzy right now. This one ends up in the back of the net. 2 minutes shy of sorts of halftime. John McCarroll over the ball. Booyah just lurking, testing everybody a little bit outside the top of the 18. Vanishing foam, saying hello to everybody. Labored on the back post, and John just right in the middle of everything. He's the key factor here. Does he make that vital near post run we've seen in the past where he can hit it himself or flick it, or the peel off to the back post?
Carroll all the way to the back post. Lambert back into the middle. Asante on the first time, takes a deflection, and it's in! And it's Joey Farrell. I'm not sure how much he knew about it. Sacramento are claiming it was a handball, but Joey Farrell, who made the mistake on the opening goal, allowing Cam Iwasa to put Sacramento up on the board, atones for his sins, and the center back from Pennsylvania puts Phoenix up 2-1 right before the stroke of halftime.
I promise you this, wait till you see the smarts on Joey Farrell. He knows exactly what he's doing when this ball starts heading his direction. It doesn't come from John, but instead they go the international route. The Jamaican Lambert on the back post. Well done to find Asante at the top of the 18. He's just trying to put it on frame. Many could sky high this, and as this ball comes back across, they find Joey Farrell. We said this thing would be sent sky high before halftime if they could put one in. Phoenix have their own Philadelphia Flyer, and it's Joey Farrell.
So Joey Farrell, and you love the response from him after scoring the goal, because his teammates ran right to him. They knew how poorly he felt after giving up the opening goal. And able to make up for it, he says, let's go. There's a lot more work to be done. He just had a feeling it was coming, given all the pressure that Phoenix has been applying. Now it's Mustafa Dabuya with acres of space. Dabuya across the middle looking for Adam John. And he probably had room for maybe 1 or 2 more touches.
One of the bigger criticisms you're going to get at halftime is the lack of decision-making, where you can take that extra second or third touch and be selfish. Loads of room for him. Look at this, right outside of the 18. Cut this ball back in. Challenge the back line of Sacramento. That'll pull more space at the top of the 18 and give you an opportunity to find that second and third trailing run.
Clearance straight to Kevin Lambert. D up. Naga through the legs of Partain. And John Baquero with the switch over the head of Thomasina Voltson. 3 minutes of stoppage time at the end of the first half. And coming up at halftime, we're kicking it with your Phoenix CW. You'll hear from midfielder Kevin Lambert, hear about his growing up in Jamaica and what he thinks about eating Jamaican food here in the desert. That's coming up at the half.
But that's interesting. There's no way the pigeon peas are like home.
You don't think so?
Absolutely not. Nice little patty. Oh, spent my honeymoon there. Just shaking your head, nodding in disbelief that it's still official. Someone had to get a ring, Tyler. It can't always be you.
Dabuya races to keep it in play. Certainly not been your typical Phoenix Rising first half. The lead may be, but the way that they've gotten it. An own goal and a Joey Farrell deflection. Not exactly what you would expect from a side that sports 3 different players that have double-digit figures in the goal-scoring department. Still work to do at the end of the first half, though. Thomasina Voltson sliding it through. Here's Darius Formella. First start tonight. Trying to put it on frame. It'll pop back out. Ina Voltson going for the curler. And Zach Lubin read it perfectly. And he wants to go quickly on the other end into the path of Junior Flemings. Flemings full steam ahead. Here comes the Jamaican. Puts it across. Asante. Oh, and it's a terrific save from Bobby Shuttleworth. Quarter coming up for Phoenix, and the Canadian cannot believe he does not have number 19.
I told you the quick distribution would look real nice for the winners of Phoenix Rising. Well done by Junior Flemings to allow this to develop, and notice that quick little cut inside of the tail end of things. Arjona trying to track back to catch up with Solomon Asante, but the goalkeeper bails him out once again.
D up. And that's going to do it for the first half. Phoenix Rising FC, after falling by a score of 1-0 in the first 2 minutes, scored 2 unanswered goals. They get an own goal from Juan Barahona. Junior Fleming was able to help create it. And then Joey Farrell, off a shot from Solomon Asante via a corner, atones for his sins, originally giving up the opening goal to Kamiwasa and Sacramento Republic. Devin Kerr, your thoughts on the first 45 minutes?
That stat right there says it all. 14-0-3 when scoring 2 or more goals. And in the past 4 matchups against Sacramento Republic, they have only conceded against Phoenix once. 2 in the back of the net against Simon Elliott in the opening 45 minutes. He has to find a way to get his midfield more of a conjunctive movement going forward for Phoenix Rising. They need to continue to pump the balls down into the flanks. They've been most successful in that fashion.
Well, you're kicking it with your Phoenix CW if that's where you're tuned in. ESPN Plus. Hang around. We'll step aside for a moment. Phoenix Rising FC 2, Sacramento Republic 1 at the half.
I'm Chloe Marr, and you're kicking it with your Phoenix CW. Soccer is a global phenomenon. Players here in the Valley come from all over the world, so it's a big deal when family comes to see them play. Adam Waltz has a look.
24 hours of travel from London to Los Angeles for this family moment. Phoenix Rising player John Baccaro greeted his family in the hotel lobby game day ahead of their August bout against LA Galaxy 2.
Well, I haven't seen them since January, so really excited to have them over and be able to spend some time. Obviously, family's far away from me, so I'm really happy to see them.
John picked up right where he left off with his godson, whose name is also John.
Last year we didn't get a chance to see him in Chicago or Toronto.
After some midday family time, John's family set up in the away bleachers in LA.
Please welcome to the field, Phoenix Rising FC.
The Spaniard wasn't part of the starting lineup.
He's hoping that he'll come on maybe like second half. I think mainly because we're here and he'd like to show off a little bit.
John was eventually subbed in, and he provided a huge assist to tie the game at 2.
Phoenix is knocking on the door with an equalizer. Could be coming here. Flemings got it.
I thought he had a cracking game.
Yeah?
Yeah. I think he did what he needed to when he came on.
It's great. Happy to help the team and glad they were here for the win.
John's family wasn't quite done stateside. They finished up their trip with a visit to Casino Arizona Field before the long trek back to London. In total, more than 11,000 miles traveled, all for these special moments.
Well, it's great to see how much they love me and that they're willing to come out, and just really excited to see them and spend some time with them.
For Kicking It, I'm Adam Waltz.
When we come back, highlights from around the USL. More Kicking It right after this.
At Arizona Federal, our passion is to help out the community where you live and work, because where you bank should make you feel good. Show your support for the home team with the Phoenix Rising Visa debit card. When you open a new account, you can score $100 just for using your card when you shop. How's that for an easy goal? Be a part of our commitment to the community. Arizona Federal Credit Union.
We're Carvana, the company who invented car vending machines and buying a car 100% online. Now we've created a brand new way for you to sell your car. Whether it's a few years old or dinosaur old, we want to buy your car. So go to Carvana and enter your license plate, answer a few questions, and our techno wizardry calculates your car's value and gives you a real offer in seconds. When you're ready, we'll come to you, pay you on the spot, and pick up your car. That's it. So ditch the old way of selling your car and say hello to the new way at Carvana.
Mobile Mini is a lockdown defender. Have peace of mind using Mobile Mini, guarding all of your valuables on site, at home, or at your business. Mobile Mini storage containers are made of 100% steel and maximize your protection with our patented Tri-Cam locking system that is camera-proof, cut-proof, and drill-proof. Proud partner of Phoenix Rising FC.
Watson going to take a shot. Oh, my.
That is sensational from the Irishman. Plays it across and finds the left net.
Welcome into episode 13 of Steal Some Time. We are going to start over in the East and chat a little bit about North Carolina hosting the Pittsburgh Riverhounds this week. And I think that we can easily say that nobody saw a 5-0 outcome, at least in North Carolina's favor, coming out of week 24. But let me tell you, North Carolina stuck it to the Riverhounds, shut down that unbeaten streak that they had going. And really, I mean, they dominated play, outshot Pittsburgh 13-5, 8 shots on target as well, which is fantastic. Pittsburgh, on the other hand, didn't have a single shot on target, and I think that's obviously a major difference maker. North Carolina looked good, Scott.
Yeah, I mean, the same week Austin Deleuze announces his retirement, he then goes and dedicates a 5-0 win over Pittsburgh to the Oak City supporters.
So cool.
Definitely didn't play out how I thought it would.
Right.
And I think that I speak for the vast majority of fans around the championship who just kind of looked at that and said, what the heck's going on with Pittsburgh?
Elsewhere ahead in week 25, I don't know how much longer we can talk about Phoenix, but they're giving us no other choice. They're back for another dollar beer night, and this time they're hosting Sacramento. And I'm going to go on a limb here. I'm going to say that this story's different. As good as Phoenix's backline has been, I think this is the biggest chance all season that Phoenix is going to have a run for their money on dollar beer night, going for 15 straight wins.
Are you calling I won't make you go out.
No, I'll call that. Yeah, I think this is it.
You think they're going to lose
I
or
do.
draw?
I think.
I was just going to let you say that the win streak is snapped.
I think the win streak is
visually
snapped.
hedging right now.
Yeah, I see the bullets, the little beads of sweat just starting to she can feel the heat here. She feels the pressure. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm going to call it. I think the L comes.
All right, well, awesome stuff from the championship, as well as Steal Some Time, as we have a dandy of a Wednesday night soccer, Friday night edition of that version between Louisville City and Indy 11. 2-1 to Phoenix Rising FC over Sacramento Republic, and the Quails hailing from Northern California at the half. And we'll take a look at some news and notes. How about New York Rebels 2? 4-point lead atop the Eastern Conference with a win over Nashville, as well as the stumble from Tampa Bay Rowdies midweek against North Carolina FC. Douay heading over to Orange County as they've had some goalkeeper struggles. Frederick Douay coming over from Jimmy Nielsen and Hartford Athletic, and Supporters Week continues to roll on. Devin, let's take a look at the standings in the Western Conference, and these are live standings that we are going to take a look at. Phoenix Rising 12 points clear of Reno with a game in hand.
There's just so much going on right now. It's kind of hard to comprehend. I really like the matchup tomorrow. OKC Energy FC hosting Austin Bold. Austin Bold currently sitting in the 4th spot. Sacramento still has something to say about it in the second 45. But as good as they've been, they are abysmal on the road. Only 2 wins in the entire season. And this is a team with Marcelo Serrano impressively on the defensive side of the ball, but just can't get it going when they go on the road. They saw that when they went to Phoenix, and they got drubbed. And I think that could be a make or break for Austin. If they don't get points on the road this time, watch out, that could be the downfall.
Well, Phoenix Rising FC, as it stands, 15 wins in a row. Find out if they're able to hang on or if Sacramento can break them up and get this done. Halftime, rolling on.
You're watching Kicking It on your Phoenix CW. I'm Clay Marr. From sandy beaches to the dusty desert, it's time to get to know midfielder Kevin Lambert.
I do miss Jamaica a lot.
For Kevin Lambert, the switch from a Caribbean island to the desert Southwest has been a big one.
It's really different. Culture is different. Food is different. Everything is different here, but I like it here.
He says he's adjusting just fine with some comforts from home.
Have you had any Jamaican food here?
Yeah.
Was it as good?
It's close.
Oh, so what's your order for Jamaican food? Your go-to?
Oxtail, with rice and peas and some fried plantains.
Meals like that take him back to when he was a kid. Growing up, he excelled at 2 sports, cricket and soccer.
I was really good at cricket, but I didn't love it. I love soccer.
Eventually, he had to make a choice.
It was easy for me because, as I said, I didn't love cricket. I was just good at it, so I was just playing, and it was like taking me places, but I didn't love it. I love soccer, so I chose soccer.
Soccer gave him a future. His mom and dad gave him guidance.
The way our parents raised us, like they raised us like tough, to be tough and strong. Nobody's gonna put anything on your table for you. You gotta go out there and get whatever you want in life. So yeah, hard work was really something that our parents taught us growing up.
That hard work has paid off, playing professionally in Phoenix, and it's earned him a spot on the Jamaican national team. He says the struggle was worth it.
It was pretty hard, but at the same time, I think it was really good. A lot of really good life lessons you learned from when you were smaller, which will definitely help you growing up. And it's been like helping me like right now, and I know it will be helping me like for the rest of my life. So it was pretty good.
Thankful?
Yeah.
You're watching Kicking It on your Phoenix CW. Stay right there. We're back with the second half right after this.
At Arizona Federal, our passion is to help out the community where you live and work, because where you bank should make you feel good. Show your support for the home team with the Phoenix Rising Visa debit card. When you open a new account, you can score $100 just for using your card when you shop. How's that for an easy goal? Be a part of our commitment to the community. Arizona Federal Credit Union.
We're Carvana, the company who invented car vending machines and buying a car 100% online. Now we've created a brand new way for you to sell your car. Whether it's a few years old or dinosaur old, we want to buy your car. So go to Carvana and enter your license plate, answer a few questions, and our techno wizardry calculates your car's value and gives you a real offer in seconds. When you're ready, we'll come to you, pay you on the spot, and pick up your car. That's it. So ditch the old way of selling your car and say hello to the new way at Carvana.
Mobile Mini is a lockdown defender. Have peace of mind using Mobile Mini, guarding all of your valuables on site, at home, or at your business. Mobile Mini storage containers are made of 100% steel and maximize your protection with our patented Tri-Cam locking system. That is camera.
For the second half here at Casino Arizona Field, and it's Dollar Beer Night. Fans are feeling good here in the Valley of the Desert. We'll take a look at how it all went down in the first half. Tyler Terrence along with the ex-German pro Devin Kerr. Opening 2 minutes, mistake from Joey Farrell. Devin, I mean, you've said time and time again since the goal that it may not necessarily be all Joey's fault.
It could be. We just don't know if it is or not. And you don't know what the communication is on the field. He has to be able to see Kami Wasa coming over his shoulder because he's there with him the entire time. The minute that you drop back, you know that the attacker is going to go for it. And for him to head it, he had to be pretty certain that he had an opportunity to do so. That's why I said there could have been a shot from the goalkeeper. But still, luck shines your way. Opportunity here by Junior Flemings. Really well done to just rotate back around and give your team a chance. Sometimes that's all you need to do. Put it back in, let someone go get it. It comes in the form of Barahona. And then what is the response going to be from the Quails? It was quite quiet for some time, to be honest. Kami Wasa, nice movement off the top. Indy Bolton had dropped all the way back in. But you started to see a lot of interchange between those two boys up top. McCrary sees the trailing run. Well done by Zach Lubin. Both he and Shuttleworth made some really nice saves down the stretch of the first half. but it's all about this deflection from Joey Farrell. Solomon Asante puts this on target, but Farrell is able to turn this against the grain and just put it right back across Shuttlesworth. He can't do anything. The thing it comes off the hand. It's 100% off the hip. Phoenix go up 2-1.
All right, so if you're Rick Johnson, the dressing room for Phoenix at halftime, what might be the message?
Control. They want to make sure that they're on the ball on a regular basis, and more specifically, when they are getting these chances down on the offensive side of things, they need to make better decisions. A couple of times you saw wide open lanes. They could have gone further. The quick pass was there. They didn't play it, so they have to be more precise. I said it earlier, for Sacramento Republic, you've got to get your midfielders on the ball. Too many times you're seeing long balls like this being sprayed outside. They're trying to go up over the top, and they're not having any success. For them to be good going forward, you need Partain and Villarreal to have the ball at the feet and really distribute to your boys on the front three.
Well, away we go in the second half. Again, Tyler Terrence along with the ex-Sherman pro Devin Kerr. So glad that you can tune in for a little Friday night action in the USL Championship Western Conference between Phoenix and Sacramento. Dollar Beer Night as they're looking to make it 14-0-0 when Bud Lights are flying for a buck a pop, and more importantly, 15 consecutive wins. That is what's on the line tonight for Phoenix. For Sacramento, given the Western Conference standings that we've taken a look at a couple of times, they could jump into 4th place or fall below the cutoff line as Lambert goes for goal, and he put his foot through that and then some. It just goes wide. We've seen him hit from distance before, and this wasn't far off.
You want to be that pivot point going forward, you got to find a way to finally produce on the offensive side of things. Can't always be distribution. And Lambert near pulled the trigger from about 30 yards out. Sometimes that's all it takes. We said you get Dembuya some games. We saw Amadou Dia against T2. Though Phoenix are up by a goal right now, they'll take a cushion anywhere they can get it, even if it comes from the Jamaican savior coming out of the middle.
Lambert will want to throw in, and that's Ismir Bekovic calls that in favor of Sacramento, and that's just laughable.
It definitely should have been Phoenix ball, but to be fair, Lambert should have gone back and released it earlier. He didn't need to take the extra time to track all the way back around it. It's some of the progression you see where he can be so good on one end and then just kind of lose his thoughts. More consistent performer will continue to push his game to a higher level, and a little bit of a makeup right there.
Bit. That's the age-old question. Should makeup calls exist? No. Do they exist?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Adam John with the pressure. Shuttleworth has to get rid of it, and he does. Another look at the struggles that Phoenix has had with Sacramento. Only 2 wins against the Quails in their existence. One of them you have to go all the way back to their Arizona United days. As this delivery takes a deflection and a corner kick coming up for Sacramento. What will the response be from Simon Elliott's group after what was a rather lackluster first half, following probably the 10-minute mark?
Spots like this, you got to go after guys like Mitchell Tainer and Dacko Kanon. Haven't had many dead ball situations. Utilize those big bodies to your advantage.
Joey Farrell rises for the header. And Partain goes back for Jordan McCrary. Fleming's just trying to shape it out. Thumping header. And here comes Solomon Asante the other way, and he gets ripped down from behind by Juan Barahona. He is definitely going to go into the book here. Set piece coming up for Phoenix, and Barahona showed mustard in the 49th.
He's quite lucky, to be honest, that the backside of the defending unit had already come to help him out in support. If they're not there, this could easily have gone a different shade on the card. He knows he's beat. The ball's out in front, but how about the towering header coming off the other side of things to spring the attack for Solomon Asante from Joey Farrell.
Well, that is probably the last player you want in the entirety of the USL Championship running at your back line. reckless abandon. And Juan Marajona, knowing that, yanks down the Ghanaian. Pays the price for it. But Phoenix, who have already been successful off of one set piece tonight, with another chance here to extend their lead. Baquero. Oh, it's a great ball in, looking for Dia. Farrell trying to take a stab at it, it's cleared off the line. Offside flag was up. It was almost a second for Joey Farrell.
You have to imagine the linesman's going after Amadou Dia. Second ball here, but two guys behind him. Hard to really tell from that angle. That one as well. It's when the initial ball's played in, of course. Joey Farrell bags the brace, then you know this thing's all over. Go figure on that one. Things are not going well for you if that young man is the one who's putting your team in the driver's seat. Obviously Sacramento Republic, of course. Just noticed still going very direct and not able to find any of their guys up top. These long balls down to the right side where the second chance opportunities, when you're playing it like this and it's coming into a Junior Flemings or an Adam John, they're having success where they're bringing that ball down and allowing the attack to continue going forward. Cannot say the same for Sacramento. Just frustration without the ability to have continuous play, and that was something I took notice to where you kind of heard it coming out of the Phoenix camp as well. Where's Ray Sari? Wasn't involved in the match last week in the 11, nor is he in the 18 this week.
Asante for Aguinaga. Back for Solo. Had it poked away from behind. Good defensive play from Marius Formella. Dia wins it back though. Trying to get around Aleman. He gets taken down. Devin, you don't seem to agree with that call.
I think it's a foul. I just think it's a soft foul. Again, the way the referee's letting things go, you have no idea what he's going to blow his whistle for. Aleman on the tail end of this, he 100% sticks his arm out, but Amadou Dia is not dumb. He knows this is coming. The second he takes the touch, watch him get his body on the outside of this thing, he starts to take off, and there's just a little shove of the shoulder. I mean, it's the two guys dropping their arms. They're both doing it. There's the challenge there, and it's right there where he gets himself in trouble. Yep. Absolutely. Otherwise, he's fine.
Baquero. Wasn't his best delivery. Sante, here he goes. Thread the needle. Out of the reach of Ina Voltson, he goes to ground, but Mustafa Nabuya did just enough, and Lambert able to keep it in play and find the feet of Joey Farrell, who will restart for Phoenix. He launches the big diagonal ball for Junior Flemings, and it bounces just a few feet in front of him and over the Jamaican's head. Barahona. Positive first touch from Ina Voltson, but hopeful trying to find the streaking runner on the far side in Formella. Here's Hayden Partain trying to get around Lambert. Partain into the middle wasn't a bad idea, but no run being made at the back post that was available. Sonic's new Red Bull Slush was a no-brainer. Slushes are a crowd favorite. Red Bull is a crowd favorite. Hurry into Sonic for your new favorite drink. Flemings gets drilled by Ina Voltson, and he is not happy about it. The Dane and the Jamaican go head-to-head.
This should be a card.
4.
Ina Voltson on the back end of it, coming back at him. The retaliation. On the tail end of this, when he gets back up here, there's the challenge right there. And then watch when he stands up. Goes after him, just a little bump in the chest. I mean, maybe it's nothing, But again, it's the referee. Like, you've said, yes, you can do this, no, you can't do that. But you put the ceiling up here, you let guys go above it, and when they come below, you penalize them even more. If you're gonna call a foul on the right side when Amadou Dia is going to the left, that's a retaliation by Volson. You then have to penalize him as well.
And you think Junior Fleming's played no part in that? He could have walked around Volson, whatever it might have been. Just playing devil's advocate.
Junior Fleming stood up right in front of him, not disagreeing with that. But Volson's the one who comes at him. You can stand there and say whatever you want. As long as you're not cursing, which, let's be clear, you can get away with pretty much anything. As long as you're not cursing and producing ungentlemanly conduct, you don't have to move.
Dia lofts one in. John trying to win the header. It's been a rough couple of games for Adam John. He really hasn't found his groove tonight. He certainly did not have his best stuff against Reno, but as a number of people pointed out, John just does a lot of little things that allows Phoenix to be successful, especially in that number 9 role, as William Bijev is going to come on and Darius Formella will come off. Devin, thoughts on the Poland native's first start for Simon Elliott?
I didn't even realize he was on the pitch. I feel terrible about saying that because he's a guy I'm real high on, but his performance was severely lacking. It all goes back to the squad decisions and why isn't Sam Warner in the starting 11? Now he's on the bench within the 18, but I don't understand why a guy who has produced for you at such a high level all season long takes a seat on the road and probably one of the biggest games coming down the stretch that you're going to have. Bijev's a great shout as well, but there's been such a good ebb and flow between Aleman and Werner on the left and right respectively. Formella just didn't do enough. He's not productive enough, and they really suffered out on the channel from him.
First substitute exhausted by Simon Elliott, and Dewey Jamala gets some good communication from Zach Lubin, and ball goes out of play. Even up 2-1, you can see the sense of urgency from Phoenix from restarts, even a goal kick. Fleming's trying to turn, but Prairie called for the foul.
They know the quick strike ability of what this team is capable of in Sacramento Republic. There's the graphic once again, 14-0-3 when they scored 2 or more goals. That's looking quite nicely for them as well. For Sacramento Republic, they've either been trailing, giving up the first goal 8 times this year. Only once have they come back to get any points. That point, by the way, was a draw. And to give you an idea of how bad it's been for them, you have to go all the way back to the first game of the season when Real Monarchs got a goal out of the main man himself, the Blake down, 35th minute. And it took a Harris Hansopoulos goal in the 81st minute, an equalizer, to scavenge 1.8 matches. They've gone down in such a fashion. Only once have they gotten a point. That is not something that's going to go well for them, especially when they're on a road at Casino, Arizona.
Bijev gets bottled up by Dambuya. More pressure from the Sierra Leone native, but Sacramento somehow come away with it. The back heel from Volson doesn't quite come off for Kami Wasa. Dia almost got caught with it. Flemings again going at McCrary. Adam John back for Flemings. Great little ball. Flemings touches it around. Baquero along for Asante. Here comes the Ghanaian. Solo to the byline. He tries to get the back heel for John Baquero, but didn't have nearly enough pace behind it. Challenge from Dambuya, and that's a foul. And it's time for the Sonic Happy Hour, brought to you by Sonic and your new favorite drink, the Red Bull Slush. If a rising player scores during the 60th minute, one lucky fan will win a $500 Sonic gift card. For more info, visit phxrisingfc.com/Sonic. Uwasa. Adam John coming all the way back to defend. Asante for Aguinaga. Still got room to run. And it's slowing down. He allowed the defender to just get closer and closer, Juan Barahona. McCrary. Challenge comes in for Nina Voltson. Pass a bit too hot to handle for Asante. And that'll do it for the Sonic Happy Hour. Thanks for playing.
Notice the frustration by Voltson. He's continuing to drop deeper and deeper. You get goal scorers looking for some sort of glimmer to get back into a game. That's exactly what you'll see. Kemi Wasa, and he switched only about the 30th minute mark. They were playing flat, almost in a 4-4-2 on the defensive side of things, but now Iwasa is the lone man up top and still can't find a way to get those two on the same page.
Hearing that Peter Lee Vassell is getting set to check on and replace Jose Aguinaga. Peter Lee Vassell will get his longest run in with Phoenix Rising. He was making his second appearance, and he'll have a half an hour here to help Phoenix try to close it out. And Jose Aguinaga, who again just puts in a mighty fine shift, comes off to a warm round of applause here at Casino Arizona Field on a 102-degree night.
Done by Aguinaga. It's easy based upon the way the match has gone to turn your head to Becerra, who's come out into the channel and asked for it a bit more than his central piece usually does, as well as the movements coming from Lambert pushing higher and higher every single time he's given the opportunity to do so. Aguinaga, as we've mentioned so many times before, is one of those focal points, kind of drifts from your mind at certain points in time. Always that steady as she goes type thing. It's the depth again for Phoenix Rising that we've brought up in the past, but get an opportunity to start those three and then bring on the likes of Peter Lee Vassell.
Booyah goes to ground.
Sort of a rich get richer with Jay Key as he goes by, coming over on loan from LAFC.
Barahona, low delivery. It was a good ball, and Nina Voltson probably would have finished it off had Kami Watson not have gotten a touch to it. Now it's Junior Flemings on the other end, around Jordan McCrary relatively easily, and around Partain as well. Flemings, ball out wide to Solomon Asante. A bit out of his reach, but still able to get there. Solo puts it across. Seconds fall for Becerra. Back for Asante now, deflection off of Sacramento, and a corner coming up for the home side.
These are the little things that'll separate you on the good from the great, by the way. You start on one end with Sacramento Republic and how the ball doesn't drop through to Edie Voltson, then going the other way. Junior Flemings, when he cuts this, right here, put it on your right foot and put it out on the right-hand side for Solomon Asante. A second and third touch, and then has to bring it back across his body to allow the Ghanaian to get on the offensive side of things. Then the space closes down. You have to play that quicker. Better defensive teams will shut it down faster.
Ball whipped in, Lambert looking for it, and he was getting yanked from behind by Miljan Bijev. Still probably should have put it on frame.
This definitely isn't a free header, but it's got to be on the 8x8. Right inside the 6. Bijev basically bear hugging him to the ground. No complaints from Lambert, though. Notice that. He's the first one to usually pop up and have an argument with the referee. Not the case.
And it's Sam Warner coming on the Stanford product and replacing Kevin Aleman. So Simon Elliott feeling like he needs a bit of injection in the final third. And Sam Warner has been absolutely outstanding and one of the first players at the top of the list for Rick Schatz of guys they need to keep an eye on. Not just what he does on the ball, Tevin, but was more impressed with what Werner does off the ball.
I say this in the nicest of ways. He's annoying. He's one of those players that just you always have to keep your head on a swivel and try and figure out where he's going to be next. Now you'll start to see a lot of flip-flopping on the outside midfielders in Bijev and Werner. They'll go back and forth, left to right. You'll see him in dead ball situations, and watch out if the ball's out in front of him. He will run at 2, 3, and 4 at any point in time.
Free kick sent in. Lambert wins it. Offside flag is up. If you were in charge of Sacramento, would you have started Darius Formella tonight?
I would not. I would have 100% had Sam Warner in there, and to be honest, so this is a decision that I can understand, I don't disagree with, but with Hayden Partain, I think he's played well. I really like Drew Skundrich and what he brings to Sacramento Republic. I don't mind starting Partain, but you could see early on that the middle of the field was lacking. I still think it's lacking. I don't see any of their two only midfielders helping them out going forward.
Peter Lee Vassell puts in the challenge. He's going to go into the book immediately, and that's the last thing you want from your substitute who just came on for his first challenge, to be card-worthy.
To be fair, my first substitution would not have been Formella. That being said, I would have gone after a central midfielder to find a way to kind of control this game a bit more, and Phoenix Rising have taken over. They are the ones who are on the ball. They're kind of dictating the run of play. You're still seeing these hopeful balls coming out of the back from Republic. You're hoping that some life will be injected to them now, but still the middle of the field is almost non-existent for them. And for a team that prides itself on the interchanging play, those beautiful triangular movements going forward, Cami Wassa dropping down in deep, Edie Voltson coming and playing off of that. I get it, one game, but that's what they're looking for to have success going forward, and you have had almost none of it.
Should be a handball on Edie Voltson. The referee wanted to blow his whistle, now chooses not to. Here's Barahona. That's a teasing ball in, but angled a bit too closely to Zach Lubin. Over for Tia, positive first touch.
Imagine running with those two. Tia and Sam Warner. No interest, thank you very much. I'll go the long distance route. I'll do the daily jogs and have
open
a go
it up
with them.
a little bit.
Not doing sprints.
100 meter, no shot.
Absolutely
No.
not. That is not a fun one.
Sacramento again, the substitutions certainly have given them new life. Warner towards the back post. BJev will be able to get there. To Buyal to defend. Just sticks out a left foot and pokes it away from BJev. Breaks up the rhythm at the very least. That's hopeful. Sacramento, they'll be traveling to Los Dos, playing host to Tacoma at Austin. That's a massive game, and then home against RGV. Meanwhile, on the other side for Phoenix, they'll go to Tacoma on Tuesday and travel to altitude against Colorado Springs Switchbacks on Saturday. Here's Vassell. Mala has some pressure from behind. In for Flemings, and a thumping challenge from McCrary. Last touch, it looks like coming off of Flemings. And McCrary flailed an arm at Flemings, and that should be a card. And it will be a yellow for the outside back. Him and Flemings have been going after it all night, and a bit of frustration coming to the surface for the Georgia native.
Let's see how close this really is to being a next level sent off. Nasty little challenge coming in. And And then right in the tail end of this, the flailing arm. Okay, yellow card's fine. Maybe there was a bit more exuberance behind the shove. Not the case. How about the initial tackle, though? Just full steam ahead, swinging through the former Tar Heel Jordan McCrary.
Bijev. Slipped through, but Joey Farrell gets rid of it. Amadou Dia, poor giveaway. Chance here for Sacramento to equalize. Werner into the middle. Broken up by Luigi Mala. Flemings gives it away. McCrary, a good response here. Miscommunication between he and Werner. Trying to find Flemings. He's been taking a number of shots tonight. Takes one from Dekel Kanon, which I assure you is not exactly something to be trifled with. And now Shuttleworth will play it out as Junior Flemings remains prone here at Casino Arizona Field. Final 20 minutes, still 2-1 to Phoenix.
Right on the near sideline here. Of the fourth official, so they have reinforcements to know exactly what went on. Junior Flemings, you can see him motioning to that right eye of his. On coming very high off the back line. There might have been a flailing elbow on the right. Into the left temple of him. Hard to tell from the angle. Team with just inside of 20 minutes to go. Sacramento Republic in danger of going to double-digit losses once again. 9 on the year right now. They lose tonight, that'll make it 10. It'll only be the second time in the club's history they've done that. Alternated 7s and 9s basically from pretty much their existence back in 2014. They lost 12 in 2017. And of course, 7-loss year in 2018. That 12 last year, by the way, was the year that they squeaked in at the number 8 spot and took down the Real Monarchs' first-round matchup of the playoffs. Of course, that was just top 8. Now you have 10 with the play-ins.
Want your fun fact trivia for the night?
I'm ready.
Dekel Kanon, 34 years of age. Originally from Israel in his first season with Sacramento, of course played for FC Cincinnati, was part of their historic year a year ago. That was, of course, outdone by Phoenix in a couple of categories already. Overlapped with assistant coach for Phoenix Rising FC, Rambo, at Crystal Palace.
That is a fun fact. I respect that move. That's some deep, deep cover work. No prizes for it, but
no prizes at all.
Saying.
I just get your praise, which to me is as good as gold.
It's a lot of love.
Yeah, it's like Bitcoin. I can cash it in at a later date.
Eventually it'll be worth something. Maybe worth nothing eventually.
Yeah, probably worth nothing. I'll probably have to pay you for it, but
sky high and bottom of the barrel. It is a form of currency, though.
Solomon Asante, back for Lambert. Phoenix looking for that insurance goal. Asante finding John, bringing it down. John on the turn now, lays it off. Peter Lee Vassell. That would have sent this place into a different stratosphere.
Mentioned earlier the emotions getting the best of you. Exactly what goes on here. Really well done. Look at Adam John. Understands that when he pulls this across, tried to hit it on the second time around, he cannot do so. And has the understanding that positionally the trailing run will be there. He trusts it. That's the philosophy we talked about. It was not necessarily as prevalent as it is now in the opening matches of the 2019 campaign. Well done to find the trailing run, just couldn't finish things off.
But Carroll from distance.
Easy, big fella.
Starting to get the feeling that a number of players from Phoenix want that big moment in front of the south end as Drew Skundrich coming on and replacing Hayden Partain here in the 75th minute. Skundrich, another Stanford product. And actually recently got engaged to Andy Sullivan of the Washington Spirit of the National Women's Soccer League. Also plays for the national team. Congratulations to Drew, a bit belated. Fassel finding Baquero, knows exactly where Solomon Asante is, and he's isolated, at least for the moment. Dumbuya making the overlapping run. Asante's shot takes a deflection. It looked like it came off of Barahona, and a corner kick coming up for Phoenix Rising.
Any chance Sacramento Republic has left in this, they have got to find a way to counteract what's being thrown at them right now. Phoenix Rising finding a lot more momentum going forward recently. And you can just feel that third one is on the brink. Your center back, Mitchell Tainer, as well. Just stretching right at the top of the 18, tracking on Adam John. And Joey Farrell lurking once again, just keeping an eye on Kanon, playing one-on-one, but he's accounting for the zone. Notice how John's rotated all the way to the top now.
Tee up. John on the header, it's cleared off the line by McCrary. My goodness, what a defensive play. Keep Sacramento in it for now, but this is unbelievable.
This doesn't go in. It all goes back to the marking, though. Adam John was allowed to be alone free at the top of the 18, and as he goes forward, you can see Kanon and Tainer can't figure out who's marking who. That's why you put a defender on the back post.
Baquero through. Asante almost got a touch to it. Joey Farrell trying for a second, and it's coming out the other way. I believe it was a handball. Set piece defending has been a problem for Sacramento tonight.
Get another look at exactly how close this is. Watch Adam John just goes up and gets it. Poor positioning by Mitchell Tainer and Jordan McCrary. Just a little how do you do to Bobby Shuttlesworth. Thank you very much. A little pat on the back, and let's get back to it. We said they were so close to giving up a third. You cannot get any closer than that.
Skundrich back for Jordan McCrary. He's sitting on a yellow card after his transgressions involving Junior Flemings. And Jordan McCrary has quickly become public enemy number one here at Casino Arizona Field. The ball did cross the line before Lambert could get a touch off of McCrary.
Rising faithful always willing to make some extra friends.
Save thousands of dollars when you buy or sell your home. Homie gives you the support to buy or sell your home without charging the 6% commissions. It's a flat $1,500 to sell your home, no matter what the price of the home is. Go to homie.com to learn more. Lambert able to win it back for Phoenix. John thought about the big switch for Asante. He's still barking for the ball. Through the legs of Baquero. Fassel keeps the train moving, finding his compatriot Kevon Lambert. Get your tickets now for Rising's next home match on Saturday, September 7th against Aaron Powell, Billy Forbes, Lance Lang, and San Antonio FC. Visit phxrisingfc.com for ticket info. Yeah, I did it. I did it.
You have something you want to say?
I did it. I did it. I don't know what you want me to say. This Kevin.
I deal with the same pronunciations he does. So I feel the pain. He just wants an apology.
It's not getting it from me. Here's Flemings. Cuts it across. Good defensive play from Deco Kanon. And it'll be James Musa coming on in the 81st minute. And it'll very much be a defensive swap here as Musa will come on and replace John Baquero. Another lengthy and well-worked shift from Baquero. So many of these pieces in the middle of the park interchangeable, all understand the situation, understand the next man up mentality that is needed to be able to compete on this side. And James Musa took the backseat today. He'll come on and replace Baquero here in the 81st. In for John. Dambuya stays home. Don't want to give up too much ground to Sacramento should there be a counter. Farrell, the big diagonal ball that goes out of play. Rising as it stands, 12 points clear atop the Western Conference table, 15 games in a row. And of course, they'll move to 14-0-0 on Dollar Beer Night. This one probably one of the more tense affairs that they've had on Dollar Beer Night since its inception back in 2017. Asante, great little move, goes for goal. Blocked by Drew Skundrich. Landberg up for the header, but won by the Stanford product. Bijev, good idea going the other way. Foot race between Warner and Amadou Dia, watch out. And Dia gets the better of him.
Some of the Phoenix Rising substitutes in the background. Ben Spencer and Joey Calistri still having a fun little run. 6 and change to go, and there's no time for complacency right now for Phoenix Rising. Sacramento Republic are still there, and so is Jordan McCrary.
Iwasa, who has been almost invisible since scoring his goal in the 2nd minute. James Musa puts in a challenge on McCrary. John takes it away from Bijev and gets fouled. And Adam John again, despite not having his prototypical offensive evening, doing all sorts of things that little by little just start to add up to an integral performance in the greater Phoenix machine.
Funny how we talked about his contract negotiations in the offseason and how he wanted that shutout bonus built in. Now you get an idea why, because so much of what he does isn't just pounding the back of the net.
Luigi Malo, rough challenge on Cami Wassa. That should be a card, and it will be.
Great challenge by Beach in the middle of the field. Joey Farrell thinking he's a bit more space to play with. Luigi Malo, kind of a reckless challenge there. Cami Wassa. Might be fortunate based upon the positioning with the players around him.
Warner just lofts it in. Joey Farrell to ground, made sure that Sacramento were going to pick it up in a dangerous area on the field. Bobby Shuttleworth launches one over to the far side. There's a lot of space for Sacramento to play on the break. And they waste that space. And it'll be a throw-in though. There's Kevin Lambert. Is now the player down for Phoenix in the 87th minute. And after the match on your Phoenix CW, it's Masters of Illusion. Dean Cain hosts this magical mashup of magicians, illusionists, and escape artists. That's coming up right after the game.
That's not a look you normally see out of Lambert. See immediately go to ground and just asking for a stretch out. See the desert air getting to everybody, but better believe Rick Shantz will think about using that final sub if needed.
It looks like Joey Calistri is going to come on, and we're hearing that it'll be for Kevin Lambert.
Good look, landing flat like that. The way that he was having the conversation with Brendan Hodge, their trainer, that it was sort of a cramping. Don't want to speculate too much based upon what we have at our disposal. So you're just hoping that you can finish the game off and that he'll be okay. Some liquid and get right back to it.
And despite the fact that the opponents aren't exactly the caliber of Sacramento, Reno, or El Paso over the past few weeks for Phoenix as Joey Calistri comes on, you still have to keep in mind this is a Tuesday-Saturday week coming up for Phoenix. And not only that, but they're on the road for both games. They're at altitude with Colorado Springs, and it's a very, very quick turnaround. You don't want to use the phrase trap game for either one of those, but at the same time, given how much energy these Phoenix midfielders particularly are expending, they're going to need all hands on deck for this upcoming week if the streak is going to continue.
It's travel in general as well. Going to the Pacific Northwest, Cheney Stadium, and Tacoma Defiance. Yes, it was a 4-0 victory earlier this year, but they're youngsters. They can show you streaks. That can be a cause for concern as well. Of course, the Widener Field on August 31st. Rick Shantz talked to us about it earlier, like you don't want to look past your next opponent, but at the same point in time, Tacoma Defiance aren't usually a talking point of most people's conversations.
And Widener's not a place that you go and you just blow the hinges off of the game. I mean, it's always a grind, just given the playing surface and the fact that you're thousands of feet above sea level.
They'll get an opportunity in a span of weeks where you're going to go to Colorado Springs. You'll deal with New Mexico United just about a month inside of that. Road games here.
90th minute now. Stabbed away by Farrell, and Luigi Mala is going to get called for the foul here, and that yellow card is going to be Luigi Mala's second, and Phoenix are going to finish the game with 10 men. And Amadou Dia and company, and you heard Rick Schatz a little bit, saying that it's two guys going up for a ball.
You're hearing the argument here. They're also talking about the challenge earlier when Kanon came off his back line and caught Junior Flemings in the eye socket. And he should hold his head high. I can tell you this, you're in the 91st minute. Outside of the yellow card, the first one that he picked up in the 85th, you haven't had to mention his name all game long. He has been such a vital piece to this back line. Tonight, no exception whatsoever. You get a much better look at what they're talking about. McCrary trying to play quick, go direct off the backside of things. This is a really soft yellow. I'll tell you, coming up over the back, I get it. Yeah, maybe it's a foul there. If they're talking about the follow through on the arm, he's just trying to brace himself from coming down. He's not negative in his actions going after Kamiwasa.
I don't even know if he makes contact with him on the arm. It was more so with his head than anything. But anyway, Lubin off of his line, and he makes the play. And Phoenix will finish the match with 10 men, at least for the moment. And they'll be without the services of Luigi Mala on Tuesday night when they head to the Pacific Northwest to take on Tacoma Defiance. The good news is they do have a pretty solid center back by the name of A.J. Cochran, who's waiting in the passenger seat to slide right in next to Joey Farrell. And that pairing has really been the center back pairing that has played the majority of minutes in the central part of Phoenix's defense as Jordan McCrary continues to get it from the crowd here at Casino Arizona Field. 5 minutes of stoppage time. We're 2 minutes through it.
Just keep this. He's looking like he wants to hit this ball.
Vassell just dinks it in, looking for Adam John, and gets all the way through to Shuttleworth.
I just don't understand that. Why? 93rd minute approaching it. You've got 1v4 up top with Adam John. I'm not saying he can't win that, but put this thing on the deck and kill some more clock.
Vassell using his body well here. Ina Voltson. He's been held in check tonight. Sam Warner, who came off the bench, sends a good ball in towards the back post. Barahona gets a touch to it. Late arriving run from Ina Voltson. And it looks like last touch came off of Adam John, and now a corner kick coming up for Sacramento. 2 minutes remaining.
Bit of life here from the visitors. Sam Warner immediately running to the corner, wants to get this going, does not want Phoenix to get organized. Just going to allow his troops to get up, put it in, and get back at it.
Corner lofted in, and just over the head of Drew Skuntrich.
He knows he got that one wrong. All alone on the back post, and has nothing to show for it. You and I were looking at each other just moments before that in the middle of the field. Repeatedly, Vassell basically kicked someone in the face, and we're just letting the game play on. More inconsistencies being shown by this refereeing crew, unfortunately.
Tabuya, no messing around. Farrell lining up the header. Falls for Barahona. Here's Kamiwasa, 1v1 with Mustafa Dambuya. Ball clipped in. Bijev went for the bicycle kick attempt. It remains with Sacramento Republic. About 30 seconds remaining. Sam Warner curls it in. Header won by Joey Farrell. McCrary, Sante gets a touch to it. Ducko Kanon forced to go negative. Final moments here. Dia comes barreling through for the header. That's gonna do it. Full time. Phoenix Rising FC make it 15 in a row. They take down Sacramento Republic. It's an unbelievable 3 weeks for Rick Schatz and this side in the Valley of the Sun. They take down El Paso, Reno, and now the Quails of Sacramento. 12 points clear atop the Western Conference table. 49-12 outscoring their opponents amidst this streak. It is simply magical at this point. Joey Farrell with the game-winning goal, and what a bounce-back story. And these two sides who do not like each other coming to in the middle of the park. Mustafa Nambuya really hot. Emotions were running high this entire match. They've run high every single time that these two sides have met in the past, and they're still going after it. Jordan McCrary has been in the middle of it, not only since the final whistle is blown, but for the entire night. Let's take a look at tonight's Mobile Mini man of the match. Kevin Lambert. Devin didn't score a goal, didn't have an assist, but again, just gets his hands dirty night in and night out in the engine room.
Doesn't matter. He had a professional performance from start to finish, much like Phoenix Rising did, and you need that gritty work from your midfielder and the continued movement for this player going forward. Such high expectations for him and his ability to drop back and help out on the defensive side of things, but also be involved in the aerial attack, and more importantly, stepping into the final third, sometimes making those long runs or being the distributive force going forward. Beautiful performance from the midfielder.
As Devin mentioned, a professional performance at its finest from Phoenix Rising FC, winners by a score of 2-1. We'll be back in a moment to put a bow on it.
At Arizona Federal, our passion is to help out the community where you live and work, because where you bank should make you feel good. Show your support for the home team with the Phoenix Rising Visa debit card. When you open a new account, you can score $100 just for using your card when you shop. How's that for an easy goal? Be a part of our commitment to the community. Arizona Federal Credit Union.
We're Carvana, the company who invented car vending machines and buying a car 100% online. Now we've created a brand new way for you to sell your car. Whether it's a few years old or dinosaur old, we want to buy your car. So go to Carvana and enter your license plate, answer a few questions, and our techno wizardry calculates your car's value and gives you a real offer in seconds. When you're ready, we'll come to you, pay you on the spot, and pick up your car. That's it. So ditch the old way of selling your car and say hello to the new way at Carvana.
Another day, another dollar, another win on Dollar Beer Night. Phoenix Rising FC 14-0-0 on Dollar Beer Night. Better yet, 15 wins in a row, 12 points clear of the Western Conference table. The South End continues to rock here at Casino Arizona Field as the side meets at midfield, led again by their captain, Solomon Asante, from a vocal standpoint. Tyler Terrence, along with the ex-German pro, Devin Kerr. We'll take a look at the Whataburger. What a save of the night, and Zach Lubin, watch this. Big ball ahead to Jordan McCrary. It gets laid off for Kamini Wasa. He tries to beat Lubin at the near post, but the Montana man says no thank you.
Unfortunately, this was going to happen in about the start of the latter portion of the first half. That's really all you would get out of Kamini Wasa. Not impressive numbers from him, but really well done by the goalkeeper and Zach Lubin. As this comes back across, you think that you're going to challenge the right side of your body. Instead, Kamini Wasa has seen that before, tries to get real quirky on the front post. Lubin's having nothing of her. This game got started off in a really weird fashion. Opening couple minutes, ball gets knocked back over the chalk. Just a little hope, and Joey Farrell gets it all wrong. We said, is it a miscommunication? Is there a shout from one of the center backs or from Zach Lubin himself? Regardless, he knocks this back. Kamini Wasa puts it in the back of the net.
12th goal this season for Kamini Wasa on a night where he made his 105th appearance for the Quails, and you see what it means to Sacramento Republic, but it would be short-lived. Junior Flemings, after he circles back around, good ball across, but Juan Barahona sticks out a toe, unlucky, doesn't even begin to describe it, but sometimes you need the bounces to go your ways.
How about the defender? He's got his arms behind his back, does every single thing right, positioning appropriate, but unfortunately, it's that tiny little touch which needs to go the other direction. He doesn't do himself any favors. I was really impressed by how this played out, though. You basically use Adam John as a pick, rotate Lambert all the way back across, and he comes to Salman Asante. Most people are recognizing the big bodies in the middle of the field. You go for the shortest one at the top of the 18. Yes, he puts it on frame. More importantly, Joey Farrell has the understanding to help it out into the back of his own net. This will be the second yellow, which will end up in a red for Tuichi Mala. He would pick up 2 in the span of 5 minutes. He takes his seat. Controversial, to say the least. Refereeing wasn't the best down the stretch, but more importantly, Phoenix Rising 12-point lead at the top of the Western Conference. And oh, by the way, a game in hand on Reno, who's up by goal differential on Fresno.
So Sacramento, if things do not go their way this weekend, could find themselves on the outside looking in of the 10 teams inside of the playoff cutoff line. A lot would have to go wrong, but it just needs to be repeated at this Western Conference. Once you get below the number 3 seed, it is anybody's spot to have within this postseason picture. Let's take a look at what's going on with Phoenix on the horizon and their schedule over the next 5 weeks or so, and their upcoming schedule presented to you by Homie Real Estate. And they're at Tacoma, and then against Colorado Springs Switchbacks, and those 2 games will be within the span of 4 days. Then home against San Antonio FC, at Las Vegas, home against Los Dos.
They're actually at Colorado Springs, and more importantly, on the road 5 out of the next 7. That's a real testament of what this team is going to be made of down the stretch. And you want to make sure that you have enough momentum come playoff time that you haven't used up all of this magic so far. Correction on my stat before, by the way. Reno not up on goal differential. They're up on total wins. Remember, that changed from last year.
Well, Phoenix Rising Football Club just continue to keep on doing it. So many beers to hold, so many wins to hold, not enough hands, but Phoenix will somehow count them all up. 15 now and counting. Tempers were hot against Sacramento the entire night. Simon Elliott doesn't really know what to make of it. Rick Shantz knows that it's another 3 points for our entire crew, and my broadcast partner, Devin Kerr, Tyler Terrence, saying so long for now. Phoenix winners by a score of 2-1.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League Championship cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League Championship.